So here I've got a Roland digital piano, and today I'm going to be repairing some of the keys. This piano is pretty nice, and the action of the keys feels very natural. And as we take this apart, there's a pretty cool little mechanism underneath each one. You can see up here, this key doesn't really have a great response. These have a nice good clunk, have a good feel to them. This key up here seems to be detached from whatever mechanism inside is helping recreate the feeling of a real piano key. And there's another key a little further down the board that is suffering from the same issue. So why don't we get this taken apart and see if we can't do some repairs. So with this view, we can start seeing how the actuation works for each one of the keys. As I push down on the key, that little lever gets pulled up, and that hammer in the front hits this sort of squishy pad down here. This whole thing is working together sort of like a spring damper, mass spring damper system. And as you push on the key, you get sort of a decreasing sort of vibratory response. And actually, I can already see, if you look closely, it appears that there are pieces of one of these little hammers that have broken off. Looks like there's two of them back there. So I think we might have found the source of why those two keys aren't actuating properly. Let's continue disassembling and see if we can't pick those out. Alright, so we got the cover off, and we'll take a look at the electronics in a second. But I was able to fish the two pieces that we saw sort of sticking out in there. And it looks like they both have the same failure. See, they sort of cracked off their respective keys in the same way. And after inspecting some of the other keys, it looks like a lot of them are showing the same types of wear. So just to run quickly through what's going on, we have mains power coming in through the back here. It's getting regulated on this board. This board also houses the two audio amplifiers for the speakers that are in the legs of this piano. And there's maybe some other analog work going on over here, and heavily influenced likely by the digital side over here, which is also reading the buttons and the volume selection on the front panel. The keyboard, there's some sort of interface that runs through these two ribbon cables over here in the corner, and that gets fed up to this digital board. There's not any issues with any of the electronics, so I'm just going to detach them from this keyboard section, and we'll continue disassembling. From the top, it appears that I can get the keys out. They just sort of sit on these little axles on the back. There we go. So there's just a little tab right there on the back. And this is one of our broken keys. And even better, it looks like these lift right out. So we don't even have to do any more disassembly. That's pretty nice. and a great design. And yeah, so let's grab one of the weights and take a closer look at the two pieces together. All right, so we have this broken piece here and the weights, and if we slide this in, looks like we have our Cinderella fit. So I think we might not have to do anything else other than get some epoxy, try to fill some of these cracks. You can see that this plastic has definitely taken a beating over the years. I think this keyboard is originally from the 90s, so you know, that's 25 years old maybe. Let's get the other key out and get its mask put back on too. So here I'm just using Gorilla clear epoxy. I use it for pretty much everything. I love this stuff. And then we're just going to reinsert the piece. Luckily it's a pretty tight fit, so I don't think I'm gonna have to clamp it down. Try to get some of that excess off. There we go. Let that set. I'm also going to do is take some of this, sort of try to fill some of these cracks. Make this piece a little bit stronger. Hopefully that'll do the trick. All right, I'll leave these here to dry, and when they're done, we'll come back and get them reinstalled on the piano. All right, so with the epoxy dry, we can insert the weighted piece here back into its housing. And so now when we put that key back in, you can see that we can get the proper actuation, and we'll get the right response when we press the key. So there we go. That seems to have worked, and it's pretty painless. So if any of these other keys break in the near future, this is a pretty quick fix. Just takes a little bit of disassembly of the main body of the piano. Let's get this other one installed and get the piano back together. All right, so everything is put back together and it's mounted back up on its legs. Let's get it turned back on. This was one of the keys that was stuck before. And it's actuating just like the other ones, so I think this is a pretty good success. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.